G'day and welcome to the Thunder from Down Under podcast. I'm your host, Graham Solomon, and today my special guest who's joining me is Jason Malabute. Welcome, Jason. Thanks for joining us for the podcast today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
That's a pleasure. Now, you're a passionate entrepreneur, you're a man with determination, you're highly self-motivated, you're extremely driven, you were born with a disability called cerebral palsy, and your story so far and your journey to date is one of passion and focus. You've got a degree in accounting. You are a successful investor in the single family home space. And now you've transitioned into the multi-family investing space. So you're a busy young guy. And I appreciate you carving out the time to join us today. So welcome. And I just wanted to ask you if you could, pre-real estate and everything, just give us your backstory about growing up and how you actually ended up in this industry.
Yeah, so once again, thank you for having me. When I was born with a condition with cerebral palsy. The doctors didn't know if I was going to be able to walk, talk, or be able to think for myself when I was born. However, even when I was a small child, I never, I never thought of myself as anything different from people who are quote normal. And I always knew that I would not let society's society's stereotypes continue. When I was younger, I always had crazy dreams. Uh, I wanted to be a basketball player. I wanted to be an architect, and uh, when I was younger, I used to practice basketball um 8 hours every single day out in my backyard. And my dad would tell me, son, if you put that kind of focus and energy into something that's actually gonna make you money, you will be rich. At that time, I didn't really understand what he was talking about, but years later, I've put that same kind of focus into my real estate business, and it has really taken me um, a long way, because back in 2015, I became a CPA. Um, I'm very thankful for that opportunity. However, when I was in a CPA, I knew that it wasn't for me. So in 2018, that's when I first got exposed to real estate investing. I was doing one of my clients' taxes, and they had a rental property. And what I noticed was that they were making a lot of money passively without them actually doing any work. So that's how it caught my attention. So in 2018, I started to study real estate. I was watching a lot of Bigger Pockets podcasts. I was watching Grant Cardone. Then 2019, I started buying properties in Indianapolis, Indiana. They were all single family home properties. In 2020, I decided that I want to transition from single family to multi-family. And that's when I started to work with my mentor, Sterling White. He is a Indianapolis native, and he has close to 500 apartment units, 10 years of experience in the real estate um industry. So basically, most of the things that I know about real estate, I learned from him.
Yep.
Uh, and then 2021, that's when I made a big move about actually quitting my job as an accountant, and I was selling all my single family homes so that I could focus 100% on the multi-family side.
So you burnt the boats. You said, I'm going all in. I'm getting out of the accounting. I'm going. You saw that with one of your clients. You went, wow, that's for me. So let's go back to when you said you're out 8 hours a day. You'd go out and shoot hoops and play basketball. So from a young boy, did you have that already have that inbuilt work ethic and determination? Was this something that was a part of your system? If you wanted to do something, you would just work hard to achieve what you wanted to achieve.
Yeah, um, I always had this burning passion to always prove people wrong when I was younger. And it's like, I still remember even when I was still playing basketball as a young child. I was terrible. I was awful at basketball. However, nobody could tell me any different, And I was like, in my mind, I was convinced that if I worked hard enough, then I would be the first professional basketball player uh, with a disability playing in the NBA. And one of my favorite basketball players of all time is Kobe Bryant, and he's known for his mental toughness and his work ethic, and that's something that I take to the real estate world as well.
Yeah. So you've picked up, obviously one of your heroes, your idols as a kid. You've picked up those traits. You've seen that in him. You've already got it inbuilt. You've just said you've already got it inbuilt. You know, 8 hours a day out there shooting hoops. You've brought that in. You've got. So how did the next question I got for you is how did you actually get into the accounting? What made you decide to go into accounting? Obviously at college, and that was that something that you wanted to do, or is it just something that sort of come in front of you and you just went, right, I'm doing that now?
so I still remember when I was a junior year of high school. I actually made it all the way to my junior varsity basketball team, and I wasn't getting any playing time, obviously. So, I remember I decided that I quit the team. I came home crying to my mom, and I quit the team. And reality hit me that hey, you're not gonna be a professional basketball player. So I was so lost. I didn't know what I was gonna do because I really did think that I had a chance of being a professional basketball player. So I was crushed, and then my mom came to me one day and she said, "Listen, you have always been good with money, so why don't you become an accountant?" I was like, what is an accountant? I've never heard that before. But I was like, you know what? I don't have any other ideas, so I might as well just listen to my mom, and then I just decided that I'm gonna be an accountant.
And how long to get a degree in that? How long does that take, Jason? How many
So
years?
so first step is you need to get get a Bachelor of Science in accountancy, and that takes 4 years at a university. And then after that, you need to study for your board exam. And then once you pass your board exam, then you need at least 1 year of experience working with a experienced CPA before you can become a CPA yourself.
Yeah, so I'm starting to see the pattern here. 8 hours out in the basketball court as outside shooting hoops. You've sort of pivoted, gone into the accounting. That's 4 years minimum. You've done all the extra stuff on top of that. So you obviously attacked that with the same passion that you know with your basketball. Tell us a little bit about sort of your work ethic, and when you were studying and that. Were you a model student? Were you doing the hours that were required, or tell us a little bit about that journey through that time that led up to obviously when you got into real estate, that accounting period. Like, just tell us how you what your work ethic was like in the classroom and at home, I guess.
So, so let me honest with you guys. Like, when I graduated college, I graduated with a cum laude honors from my university. However, I did not apply myself as much as I do now. Because I was so young and I wasn't that focused back then. So I remember I cruised through college. I graduated with a cum laude honors. Um, then I decided that I want to take the CPA exam because that is what my parents were pushing me towards. The first time that I took the exam, I failed all four parts of the exam. Um, so what I did was I went back. I went back to my strengths, which is my determination. So what I did was I took it the next few months. I think it was 6 months or something like that, and all I did was study for the exam. I remember I would wake up like around 10 a.m. and then I would study all the way to like midnight, and I wouldn't do anything else besides study, eat, and shower.
Yeah.
And then after I did that for like 6 months, I passed all four parts of the exam. Um, no problem whatsoever. So for me, it's all about determination and focus.
Yeah, well, it sounds like, Jason, like like you said, you sort of cruise through it. You know, you obviously worked hard enough to do that. Then like when you said you failed it, that sort of shocked you a little bit, and then you pivoted and you got back on the bike and you said, right, I'm going to really knuckle down on this, and that's where that determination that you said that is inbuilt in you come in. So then obviously you passed, so that was fantastic. You passed. Um, that was probably a learning lesson for you that you actually really knuckled down. Then you passed, and then from there, um, you know, how long did you work in that field before you said, right, real estate's my thing?
Yeah. So first of all, like um I tried to take the road that most people take, which is I tried to find a high paying job in the accounting industry. Because all my accounting friends we're all making, 90,000, 100,000 a year, and like, oh, I was not making that amount, and I was trying to go to a bigger firm where I could make that kind of money. So like, I would go to the interviews, but every single time I would always get beaten out by another candidate, and like that would like crush me out. I was like, man, like are they prejudging me because of my disability or whatever? But now I realize that I was falling into the victim mindset back then. And like that is part of the reason why I probably um um did not get a high paying job back then. It's because I was in a victim mindset. So anyway, I got I kept on getting rejected, so I realized that listen, my uh, my dad was right. Um, it's gonna be hard for me to find a high paying job in this career because of my disability. So I have to be an entrepreneur. I have to get it myself. So like, that's when I started to look into different um, different business ventures. And then real estate called my name after 3 years or 4 years in the in the accounting world.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's some real thunderbolt. We call them thunderbolts. People call them gold nuggets, but on this show we call them thunderbolts, Jason. There's some real thunderbolts in there. That the fact that it wasn't all rainbows and unicorns. Things didn't go to plan a couple of times, like with your basketball, when you got into the accounting. Even when you, like you said, you failed the first time, you bounced back. You used that determination. You achieved what you want to achieve, and then you went out into the workforce. And once again, it wasn't all easy. You had to work hard through it, and obviously, you were just saying that you sort of had, you look back now and you said you had like a bit of a victim mentality. Did you really work on your mindset at that point when you had that sort of realization? Went right. I've got to really hit my mindset and really strengthen who I am and what I believe in. Did you have a bit of a moment then where you just sort of, I guess, regrouped, and then moved forward from there?
I guess my turning point was in 2019. Um, mm, Within 2019, I bought three single family homes in 6, 7 short months. So then I was looking back at my journey from that point, and I said, "Listen, you have been trying to get a better job for the last 5 years. You've been trying to get a better job. However, you just got multiple properties in 7 months.
Mm.
So so I think that God uh, um God is trying to tell you something right now. Um, um, God is telling you that your purpose is not to be an employee for the rest of your life. God is telling you that your purpose in life is to become a, a business owner, an entrepreneur, so that you can inspire more people. So that's when I burned all the ships, and I applied myself 100% into the into the real estate business, and it all starts with your mindset.
mm,
Mm,
mm.
so first thing I did was I started to write my goals down every single day, twice a day. I started to do meditation, and then also I started to do visualization as well. I'm seeing myself where do I want to be in the future, and how I'm gonna get there. That's something I do every single day to strengthen my mindset.
Yeah, so you really amped it up, didn't you? You've just from that point that we're talking about before, you've just gone another gear. You've gone up another gear. You've amped up your mind, and you've really worked on just going to that next level. So we've gone from accounting. You told the story before that you saw one of your clients. You saw how they're making money off it. So that was like the lightning bolt. That was sort of what woke you up. So then you actually went into it yourself. You had that realization. You said, "Nah, I'm an entrepreneur. It's in my spirit. I'm not going to be an employee. I'm moving forward into it." And you said three single family properties in 7 months. So that would have been a pretty wild time. It would have been pretty busy. Were you prepared for it, or was it just like a whirlwind that because there's a lot to make that happen? So
So, first thing I did was, I always knew that I didn't want to be in single family homes forever. So with that said, I never had the goal of having, 10, 20, 30, 40 single family homes. Like how some of my other investor friends had in their portfolio, because I knew that like, single family homes were just going to be a stepping stone for me, to get the necessary education and experience in the real estate business for me to transition into the multi-family space. So, and then another thing was since I was new to real estate investing back then, I knew that I was gonna make a lot of mistakes. Uh, so then that's why I use my own money for those single family home deals that I did, because I didn't think that it would be very responsible for me to use other people's money
mm,
um, when I was still new to the space back then.
yep, okay. So yeah, that's awesome. Like you've done the single family home thing, but you've already got your eye on the prize. You're already thinking and visualizing and planning the prize, and it's like you said, it's multifamily. That's where you want it to go. So you
Yeah.
used the single family as the stepping stone, but that goes back. You're talking about your mindset and your success habits and your routines. That goes back to the fact that you're already planting the seeds into the multifamily area, which is what you transitioned into now. So is that what you do a lot? Like you said, with your routine, do you constantly think about your next goals and where you want to head? Even though obviously you'd be focused on what you're doing, and like you said, you take it very seriously. Like you used your own money, you've got integrity, but you're always projecting to the bigger goal, aren't you? You're always sort of moving forward and planning to. And it was multifamily at this stage, so now that's where you're at. That's where you're at, Jason. So you've ticked off another box. You've ticked a few boxes along. I mean, we already talked about it. All the way through, you've been ticking boxes. And just, I just want to touch on the single family home thing. What was sort of the method? Was like a buy and hold method? What was the method you used there? Were you just sort of doing one at a time and sort of doing a buy and hold method at that stage?
Yeah, so I was doing a combination of uh, buy and holds, and also I was doing birds, which stand
Yep.
for buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat. And they're going, what I noticed is that when you are doing the birth method, it could take you anywhere from 6 months and up for you to actually get your capital back. And then I was thinking to myself, why am I spending this much time and energy on this one unit when I could be spending the same amount of time and energy to acquire and stabilize multiple units at the same time? So, so then, it was at that time that I decided, you know what, now is the right time to transition into the multi-family experience.
Yeah. So can you tell us, Jason, like when you were in, I mean, you obviously had, there's a stepping stone, you had the goal to always go to multifamily, but when you were in the single family space, how did you prepare for it? How did you, before you started, what sort of study did you do? Did you follow anyone in particular? Did you listen to anything? Like, how did you prepare yourself to get the knowledge to be able to get into the single family space, especially coming from another industry?
Yeah. So, as previously mentioned, I was watching a lot of Bigger Pockets podcasts, reading a lot of their books, and two of the books that they wrote, that is my favorite is a out of state investor by David Green. Um, and then the Bird Method. By David Green as well. And those books taught me how do you pick a market? How do you build a team in that market? How how do you manage your team being away from that market? So I took all of David's strategies and I applied them to my situation, living in Los Angeles, but investing in a Indianapolis, which is I think is about more than 1,000 miles away from me.
Mate, that is unbelievable. You're in California. Um, you're obviously studying like crazy. You've taken a risk out of state. You've gone to a completely different market across the country, and you've managed to not only learn on the job and work in another market, and then, like you said, you've been able to accumulate properties, and all while you've got the goal to be moving on to multifamily. So, I don't know how many hours you sleep, Jason, because you unbelievable. That is unbelievable that you've been able to do that in such a short period of time as well. So, and I think that, just personally, I'm just thinking that goes back to that drive and that motivation, that work ethic. So that's unreal. So yeah. So you obviously looked at the market you're in California. Went, it's expensive. It's probably not the right market. You've gone across to Indianapolis. Um, you've self-educated yourself. You've learnt on the job and taken risks because it's pretty risky to do something halfway across the country. And then from there, did you get any mentors? Did you work? Did you we go like? Did you go to any seminars? Did you learn off anyone? Like you mentioned Grant Cardone before. Did you watch a lot of Grant Cardone for inspiration?
Yeah, so Grant Cardone taught me to really be more goal focused and to think bigger. And then, as previously mentioned before, I also started to work with, with my mentor, Sterling White, and he has saved me from from investing in a lot of bad deals. So I'm very thankful for him. However, when I was still in single family space, um, 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 I didn't really have a mentor back then, and I wasn't going to seminars regularly like I'm doing now. So I would say that I was just learning a lot from experience back then, and I made like so many mistakes. Like for example, on the first property that I bought, I remember it was at summertime, and then in Indianapolis. It gets super hot in the summertime. So I didn't know that you are supposed to turn on the utilities the first day that you actually close on the property. So what happened was it was so hot in the property that the floor started to buckle, and then we had to replace the entire floor. So then that was an additional cost to our rehab, but that was a big lesson learned. And then another thing that I learned was to hire slow, fire fast. So in my career so far, I've had four property managers. Um, um, uh, uh, Two of them I like, and then two of them I I'm not a fan of.
Mm.
And I've had to fire a people. And then one of them actually fired me, and uh, the only reason why they fired me is because they knew that I was gonna fire them. Because they tried to charge me $3,000 more for a rehab that we were doing. So I found my own contractor, which saved me $3,000. Um, $3,000 to $4,000 actually. Excuse me. So this is not like that. I went behind their back, so they fired me that same day. Which I was fine with that because I was going to fire them anyway. So yeah, real estate is definitely a journey that comes with a lot of learning experiences,
Mm.
and that's why I love it so much. Because you keep on learning new things every single day.
Yeah, well, like you've just said it, this a term we use, a bit of argy bargy. Like it's a tough industry. You've got to, you know, like you said, I fired people. People fired me. It is. It's a pretty tough industry. But like you said, you love it, and most people do. It's becomes part of a bit of an addiction, I guess, in that sense. But once again, you're learning on the job. Now, obviously, that's the day to day grind of contractors and all that sort of stuff that you're talking about. I just want to go back to like you're a qualified trained CPA. You're an accountant, so obviously you're really good with figures. How important was that bringing that in? Obviously you're foreign people and it's hustle bustle, but how how does that influence is that a real benefit having that thinking accounting mind when you're looking at figures, when you're looking at the actual costs of the properties and the rehabs and all that? Do you find that as a huge advantage?
Yeah, being an accountant trains you to be more fiscally conservative. And like that is why whenever we budget for rehab costs, I always put somewhere between 10 to 20% as a cushion, because I know that we're always gonna find additional things that we need to take care of. So might as well budget it in the front end um so that there's no surprises moving forward. Also, when it comes to the underwriting of the deals, a lot of people say that they are conservative, but they're not really um, conservative. For example, I've seen people make sense of deals today by writing a 5% vacancy or lower. They are speculating rent growth based on the rent growth of the last 2 years because of everything that's going on. And as a CPA, as an accountant, um, I know that um, that we are not in a stable rent growth
Mm.
right now. So might as well be more conservative and use more conservative numbers when you are underwriting your rent growth. Which is more like 3 to 2%. Compared to the 10-15% that some of these operators are underwriting the deals right now.
Yeah, and then obviously, like you said, that practice in the single family. Now you're going to take that into the multifamily, which is a lot more money, a lot more. You got to look at all this accounting style stuff. Plus, the argy bargy of the rehab and that you're conditioned to that now. Like Jason, you're like a bit of a hybrid. Usually, you got two people in a business or whatever. You got one person that's the facts and figures person. You got the other person that's the operations manager. You've sort of rolled it all into one. You're doing all the same. You've been able to not only be good at the real estate side of it, but you've actually got that the accounting side of it wrapped up as well. So that's amazing. Amazing that you've got you put so many different caps on, and on top of that, like you said, you're entrepreneurial. You're trying to inspire people. You're trying to do all that stuff as well. So, like I said before, I don't know. You must sleep about an hour a night just to fit all this stuff in. Plus, the study and that. But it's awesome. It's bloody awesome. So, I just want to touch more on the mindset and the mentors. You mentioned Sterling White, so he's in the market that you're in. So, you've actually, had a relationship with him. Has he taught you a lot of stuff? Has he mentored you through these hard times? Like, were you able to talk to him, say, when you're going through some tough stuff and get some mentorship?
Yes, I strongly encourage anybody who's looking to get into the real estate business, or in fact any kind of business. You should always have a mentor who is more experienced than you, who has been doing what you are aspiring to do um, um, for quite some time. Because, for example, in my case, I was able to get about 10 years of experience. Um, uh, condensed into about 12 to 24 months of time. So like without Sterling, I would not be connected to key players in the industry. I would not know I would not know how to look at what's a good deal, what's a bad deal. I would not know um, um where to go and connect with people. Because real estate is a team game. You know,
Mm.
like every Michael Jordan needs a skyscraper. Every Kobe Bryant needs a Shaquille O'Neal. This is something that you cannot do by yourself. Especially when you are in the multi-family space and you are doing bigger deals than you really have to build a team. And that is something that Sterling has taught me was to how to build a team. How do I hire employees to actually make the calls for me, send emails for me, send the social media messages for me, so that I can focus more on the higher level stuff of the business instead of
Mm.
being pushed down to like to the to like a $5 task.
Yeah, yeah. Once again, you've hit me with a few more thunderbolts there. Like the first point that you mentioned with Sterling is you've got to have someone that has got that experience, all the rest of it. So I think Anthony Robbins calls it standing on the shoulders of giants. They've already
Mm-hmm.
been there and they can fast track. And you said you got fast tracked 10 years into 12 months. And then your next point, look, is networking. You've got to your network is your net worth, and you've just said that. He's taught you you've got to network with people. You can't be an individual and do everything yourself because you burn yourself out. And
Mm-hmm.
there's different synergy. Like you said, there's some people. You mentioned some basketball players. The same thing. For Michael Jordan to be Michael Jordan, he had to have these other people around him. It's a team game, so that's a massive point. That's a great point. And it just like it sounds like you've learnt so much in such a short period of time off him. So um, that's a key point. You've got to surround yourself with quality people, and you've got to have a mentor that's been further down, who's already climbed the mountain. So you've done that. You've got the right people around you, and now, like you said, going into the multifamily space, it's even more crucial, isn't it, to have that network because it's a
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, no, that's amazing. That's amazing, and I just want to reverse back into the the personal development stuff. Who were your mentors in that field? I mean, you've told us about a few of your sporting mentors, real estate mentors. Anthony Robbins, any guys like these that you really followed and really hit a chord with you?
Yeah. So I'm I'm a big believer of not having too many mentors, because when you have too many mentors, some of the ideas, some of the teachings don't um don't agree with each other. So I am a believer that you should only have one to two, maybe three mentors at the max. So one of my biggest mentors who is popular is Grant Cardone, and he he has influenced me because because he taught me that everything in life is about sales. So anytime that you are talking to somebody, that is sales, because you are trying to have them see something your way. Um, 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 And then um, even when you are buying, you are selling. For example, on the acquisition side of the business, uh, um, we are calling owners and we are trying to get them to sell their property to us. So then, therefore, we are selling them to our company. We are selling them that we are the best fit
Mm.
as buyers of their properties.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, Grant Cardone, he's been there, done that, climbed the mountain, hasn't he? So,
Yeah.
and he's big in multifamily space too, isn't he? That's a lot of his
Yeah.
investments has been in there. So, you found yourself, like you said, you got Sterling White, you've got him, and that's a good point. You don't want to drown yourself in too much different information, do you? You got to stay a little bit laser focused, don't you? So you can, what do they call it? Chasing shiny objects. You can start going off chasing shiny objects. And
Exactly.
when we spoke the other day, we caught up for a chat. You were saying that's really important that you got to focus. You can't get distracted, because when you get distracted, your focus isn't on what it should be. So that's amazing. Now, look, we're sort of running out of time. I could talk to you keep talking to you. I mean, look, yours is an amazing story. The grit and the determination that you've shown all the way through it to bounce back, and the hours of just effort you've put in is just amazing. So I appreciate you coming on, Jason, and sharing your story with us. I've got on the screen. I've got your contacts. If anyone wants to reach out to Jason and connect with him. Now, are you looking in the multifamily space? Are you looking to like JV or partner? Is that something that you're working on? In that space, are you looking to? Because it is a pretty big area. You're doing big projects. Are you looking in the future to do that?
Yeah, so this is not a solicitation in any way. Just in case that my friends at the uh, SEC is watching me. It's not a solicitation. However, if you want to learn more about how exactly real estate works, or if you want to learn more about multifamily investing, then we can definitely have a chat, and the best ways to reach me at is my social media. It is Jason Malabute on all social medias, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, so on and so forth. And if you guys want to know more about me, you are watching this podcast and you're thinking to yourself, well, this guy is a smart guy. He is handsome. How can I learn more about this guy? And please visit my website. It is www.jasonmalabute.com.
Yeah, like I said, Jason, I've got it all up on the screen. So if anyone's watching the replay of this, they've got all your contact details there. And you've been watching a lot of Grant Cardone because you're a smooth operator with that. That was fantastic. But and I'll just say, like Jason's saying, he even reach out and network with him. He's not trying to sell you anything. He's just saying, reach out and network with me. He's forming networks in the multifamily space. If you want to get in that space or you're in that space, reach out to him. He's got connections in there already. He's had a great mentor to get him to where he is now. So that's what he's saying. And he did a good disclaimer there. I like the way you put that in there, Jason. That was amazing. So, all right, mate. I just want to just read something in the chat because I think people that are watching this would actually agree with this. Someone's in the chat's just gone, "This is awesome. I can't believe all you've done despite all you've been through. You were the epitome of a miracle story." So that's the sort of feedback, um, from the chat, Jason. So, and that's we'll sign off on that because I'm sure that already, you know, leading up to now, you've already inspired so many people, and you're going to continue inspiring. You're a motivator. You're a influencer. And just before we sign off, you're an avid sports fan, and I was able to try and I sent you some videos the other day to try and get you into Australian rules football. So you've had a look at those. What was
Yeah.
what was the verdict? What did the jury say was the verdict on AFL football, mate?
Man, like I cannot wait to go to Australia and go to a live game. Me and you, we're gonna go to a game and we're gonna sit front row. Okay, Graham?
Mate, you get out to Melbourne, you've got a tour guide, a chaperone, and that's one of the things we'll do. We'll go to the footy. I'll get your front row seat, and I'll also show you around Melbourne. So that's a promise. If you ever come out here, you've got your tour guide. So thanks, Jason, once again for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure, and like I said, I just agree with the comments in the chat about just about how you inspire people. So that's awesome. I'll just sign off to everyone. Thank you for joining us. Like I said, reach out if you're in that space and hook up and network with Jason. And once again, Jason, I wish you all the best, and I hope to see you out in Melbourne and at the footy one day. We'll definitely put that on the bucket list. So thanks for coming on, and I really appreciate your time, mate.
Thank you again for having me, Graham. I really appreciate this. Thank
No
you.
worries. And it's been a pleasure. And because of Jason, you've been thunderstruck, guys.